I saw this article today, and I thought it was actually really interesting. It's coming in here from PhoneArena.com with the artist being Alan Friedman. So in Poland, they are suing 1,100 customers are suing Samsung. Now, why are they suing Samsung? It's not because of Z Fold 4 and Z Flip 4. It's actually Z Fold 3 and Z Flip 3. The screens are breaking. So, yeah. Obviously, with Z Fold 4 and Z Flip 4, Samsung has told us that they increased the durability of these phones. They made them better, so there shouldn't be any issue with the screen breaking. Well, that's not the case with Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3, as in Poland, they are going ahead and tearing off and actually breaking, as you guys can see. They're slowly peeling off over time, which of course does go ahead and mean they are breaking. Now, there are businesses and companies in Poland that do fix these screens for free, but they're very rare to find. It's very hard to find. So a lot of people are upset with Samsung saying, hey, listen, can I get my phone fixed? You know, I spent $2,000 on this. Even in some areas, even more than that. I want my phone fixed. How do I get my phone fixed? Well, Samsung was offering a $100 fee to go ahead and replace the screen. By the way, whenever you are sending your phone to Samsung to replace the screen, you have to factory reset it. So it kind of does suck that you have to literally wipe your whole entire device clean. But people weren't having issues with that. They were just kind of accepting it and saying, whatever, move on. Well, Samsung was denying a lot of customers of this repair. So even though, yes, they did accept a lot of them, they started denying them and saying, sorry, we're not going to fix your phone even for the $100 price tag, which left a lot of people with a $2,000 paperweight that they had nothing they could do with it. And Samsung was just kind of tail between their legs, walking off in the sunset like, we don't care. Well, obviously that did anger a lot of people, as 1,100 people were affected by this. So there was a class action lawsuit put against Samsung for this exact purpose. The phone screens are breaking. Yeah. So what does this mean for the foldable phone market? What does it mean for Samsung? Is Samsung going out of business? Is Samsung becoming bankrupt? No. So number one, Samsung will settle out of this. Most likely they will pay all the people who are affected by this probably a sum of money, and they'll walk away. They'll not really care. I mean, in all honesty, they'll probably say, hey, listen, we'll give you $5,000 a piece. Everyone affected by this, just don't bother with us again. And that is that. They even might say, hey, listen, we want the phone back. You give us the phone, we'll give you a sum of money. It might not be $5,000, it might be whatever. We'll give you some of money, you give us the phone back, and we'll call it square. And that seemingly is what a lot of people in Poland are doing. There's a lot of people returning their Z Fold 3 and Z Flip 3 for that exact said reason. So, yeah, kind of a problem. Nonetheless, though, our second news report today is coming from the same concept. Samsung, you're having issues, you're having problems. So, obviously, yes, since the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 and Z Flip 4, that's actually revolved around those phones, have come out, there has been some scrutiny about them. And the biggest scrutiny, of course, and by the way, this is the pictures of the display ripped off the phone. But anyway, though, it's going to go ahead and be the updates. So, as you guys know, Microsoft, with all their issues being said, with all their problems with the Surface Duo lineup, we have received non-stop updates for the Surface Duo 1 and 2 throughout the whole entire life cycle of these phones. And the Z Fold 3 has been getting a lot of updates too, and obviously Z Flip 3 too, and then we already had Android 12L come out recently on all three iterations, Z Fold 4, 3, and 2. Well, some regions in the world are still not getting any updates to the Z Fold 4 or Z Flip 4. We're going back to the point that some of these phones last update was in July. Can you imagine? We had the August and the September update for the Z Fold lineup. They still have not received those updates. They are still waiting for those updates. And this does happen, even with the Surface Duo and the Microsoft, where some people do not get their updates for a couple weeks, maybe up to a month later. But to still have 2-3 months down the line and not have those updates out when all of those devices are fully eligible for updates, kind of is disappointing / kind of scary if you are in those regions. Now, obviously, 90% of people watching my video right now will not be affected by this. But again, it's just for the foldable phone market altogether, it doesn't look good. And that's what I want to kind of tie this all back into. I made a question earlier and said, how does it affect the foldable phone market? It's every single thing that happens is always bad. When it's negative, is always horrendous for the foldable phone market. There's nothing, in all honesty, that could happen that's good for the foldable phone market at this point, just because so many people are against the idea of foldable phones, against the concept of how expensive these foldable phones are. So there's nothing that could ever happen good. But every little thing with the lawsuit here, or the not getting updates in certain regions of the world, it's all fuel for anyone who doesn't like foldable phones. Anyone who says, oh, foldable phones is, pointless and stupid. It's all fuel for them, right? And I'm not saying that, obviously, I'm not saying 100% that this is the biggest deal ever when it comes to small things like this. But at the end of the day, if eventually by 2025, Samsung has made the announcement, these phones are going to become flagship. They're going to become the biggest new norm in phones. Like by 2025, if you don't see 8 out of 10 people rocking a foldable phone, it's weird. It's not right. That's not what's going to happen. And as long as these little problems still happen, it's not going to become a thing. I mean, I said this before, the Surface Duo lineup. The Surface Duo lineup is a very niche product. It's a niche phone because of the fact of its, different look on things, right? But it's different look on things when it comes to two screens put together. But it also is a niche product because it has so many glitches and issues that it just can't become a mainstream device yet. It still needs to have wireless charging. It still needs to have waterproofness, and it doesn't have those things. And as long as those things aren't met, it's not going to become a flagship phone. As long as the Z Fold lineup is still $1,500 plus, and even more than that, $1,800 plus, it's never going to become a flagship device, right? So definitely will say to Samsung's point of, well, eventually this will become, a flagship device. Eventually this will become the norm. Little things like this lawsuit, little things like the not getting updates in certain regions, that kind of stuff cannot happen. And, what we saw was within the first month of the Z Fold 4 coming out, it's already $300 off. Plus, if you want to add in the case too, pretty much $400 off. And you get the second version of the 2 GB version of Z Fold 4. That's not good. What that means is that's a company that's trying to boost sales. That's a company who's scared of not hitting their numbers. And, Samsung was very ballsy this year. Come out and say, hey, listen, we're going to sell 10 million units of a Z Fold 4 and a Z Flip 4. And they haven't. And I don't think they will. And it's kind of scaring them. So, with that being said, this doesn't really affect the market too much when it comes to foldable phone market. But any publicity is bad publicity for these phones. And as long as mistakes like this keep happening, whether it is the Z Fold, Samsung, or Microsoft, LG, actually LG isn't even making foldable cell phones anymore. Motorola, Oppo, Google, Vivo, whatever company, when they create products that does have some kind of issues, it's going to look bad for any kind of foldable phone market. But guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.